Okay, so now it's time to make the commitment and officially transfer my design onto the surface of my plate, which is wrapped really well right now. A couple things you're going to want to keep handy is a cup of water and a pair of scissors. You'll use that to cut out your 6x6 square design. And one of those tools should work for you when it comes to transferring your design. I prefer a dull pencil. I think that works really well in transferring from paper onto clay. You may prefer instead a ballpoint pen. I think in your kit I gave you a wooden skewer. It's like a cuticle pushing tool. It's a beauty tool. That might work. It could be a little too sharp, so be careful with that. And then there's this tool that I told you about previously from Dollar Tree. It's a $1 tool, literally, in the craft aisle at Dollar Tree, and it's got 2 rounded points at either end. Very awesome tool. What else? I think that's about it as far as your choices go. So again, you make the decision on what's going to work best to transfer. In the meantime, I'm taking my plate out here. I have air removed from the Ziploc bag, and I have all the air removed from the other bag, the thin bag I provided you. You can also substitute that with a vegetable bag from the supermarket. It's about the same thing. And I've got some marker transfer from earlier on my clay, so if you notice a mark on the surface of my clay, it's because I was messing around with my design a little bit and not using the best markers. Now remember, your plate is a 6-inch diameter, and that's why I wanted your design to be a 6x6 square. You're going to want to center that with kind of a bird's eye view. Get it? There's a joke there. Bird's eye view. Haha. And you're going to basically want to kind of stand on your tippy toes and stare down at your sketch and see that, you know, it does fit pretty well onto your plate. So my focus is this bird, this hummingbird, and I just want to make sure that no parts of the bird are getting abruptly cut off. I'm okay with the geometric background getting cut off, that pattern getting cut off. I expect that to happen. I just don't want any aspects of the bird, just kind of not showing up on my plate. So I'm kind of testing that out right now. I'm double checking that the beak will show up, the wings, etc. I'm just kind of mapping it out and just seeing that my sketch measurement is accurate. So I feel confident with that. So now it's time to make the commitment and cut the 6x6 square out of my wax paper. Remember, I'm using wax paper. You're going to want to use line paper if you don't have wax paper, or tracing paper as it's called. So go ahead and cut that out. And then again, when I'm done cutting that out, you'll see me officially center the design onto the plate. I did it unofficially a few minutes ago, but now I'm going to officially center it. All right, almost done cutting here. And in order to get the paper to stick well, because it's going to want to slide and shift around and move when you transfer, and that's kind of annoying. So in order to get it to stick well, you're going to want to add a little bit of water. But right now I'm still just double checking that everything fits well and lines up well. So I got a little bit of water on my plate. You can kind of move that around. You're trying to create a sticky surface so your paper stays put. That'll make it much easier when you go to transfer. And you can see the corners of my design are definitely going to be, not transferable. But again, I expected that. And then there's some parts of my design that I'm going to have to extend and kind of imagine how they would look extended. So again, plan for that as well. So I prefer to use both a ballpoint pen and a dull pencil to transfer. The only problem with a ballpoint pen is it can be a little sharp, and you're going to want to be careful that when you do transfer, you don't shred the paper, you don't rip it. So I'm doing this carefully. I'm just kind of drawing over my drawn lines, basically. I'm doing a drawing technique on top of my marker lines. It's a good idea to peel the paper back just a little bit, not the entire thing. Just peel a corner back to see if you did, in fact, apply enough pressure. You'll know that you applied enough pressure if you see a faint line, as I did just a second ago. And so it looks like I'm applying enough pressure, so I'm going to continue with that amount of pressure, and I'm just going to keep tracing over all my marker lines. And again, I'm going to have to use my imagination and extend some of those lines so they wrap around the edge of the plate. Okay, so again, you can use any of the tools to transfer that I just mentioned. I'm just going with a ballpoint pen. You can see my markers bleeding through, so you're going to want to use a permanent marker. That's best, so that doesn't happen. And just keep taking little peeks if you need to. It's totally fine.